world and all who inhabit it. This is Ryan.
Hi.
We're doing another interview today, and you are here to talk about...
generalized anxiety and depression.
Alright, so I feel like we have a general basis for what depression is.
Yes.
You know, everybody kind of knows it's when you feel sad for a prolonged period of time. Generally, everybody gets kind of depressed is what we hear. Let's start off with the anxiety. What would you like, because a lot of people are like, oh, I get anxious. What would you say the difference is between just getting anxious and what you experience?
I feel like anxious is just like one of those things, like, say you have like a big test, oh, you're nervous for it. It's more like a nervous feeling, but more so like anxiety, it's like prolonged. Like there's nothing you can really do to get away from it. Like today, I was just like, I have this interview. Oh my God. And it was just like, throughout the day, I was like, am I going to be late? What am I going to say? Like, constant, like, worry. And it's not just, like, today. It's, like,
every day.
Every day.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that you made it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I'm really thankful that you're here.
Yeah.
So let's go as far back to the beginning as we can. When do you think all this started for you? And is there anything, because we talked about before, there might be some warnings you might want to...
Yes. So, like, if you're not comfortable with suicide, I would probably, like...
Don't feel any shame for clicking off this video.
Yeah, don't.
Because it sounds like that is going to be something that we address. And, you know,
I won't be offended.
Keep yourself safe first. If
yes,
you're like,
most definitely.
If you're like, that's going to make me think bad things about my life and my experiences and whatever, no shame, click off. That's fine.
No shame whatsoever.
All right.
So basically, as I was telling you a little earlier, because we kind of talked about it a little earlier.
Yeah.
When I was 10, I was actually diagnosed with a kidney disease called hypercalciuria. And so basically, like, my body produces more calcium or uses up more calcium than it should be using, and I'm not taking a bunch in. So, I want to say, like, 4th grade, it all started kind of turning a little bit, but I didn't know, like, what was really going on, if that makes sense. And then you also have, like, hospital bills and everything that kind of comes along with that.
Comes with having a chronic illness.
Yes, yeah. And like all the stress from that makes everyone get a little bit more anxious, and then that's when I kind of started seeing like my parents' marriage fall apart. And it was just a little, like, yeah.
So you're like...
It was just like kind of all downhill.
You're young, you're chronically ill, you're worried about how people are going to pay for your treatment because you know that it costs money, and your parents' marriage is falling apart.
Exactly.
That is a lot to handle.
At 10. At 10.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, like, so, when I started getting a little older, it was maybe, I want to say the end of 8th grade. So, like, a bunch of things started happening. My uncle passed away suddenly from a heart disease, 38 years old. Just... I mean, he was really well known in Muncie, so it was just like so much stress on us and my family. And then after my uncle passed away, my parents got a divorce.
Oh.
So
at
like 14, it's just kind of all downhill.
And you're still dealing with the kidney thing too.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like it all kind of going downhill. And then, like, not to mention, my dad is also a alcoholic, still is to this day. I love him dearly, but, and I try not to enable him, but you gotta do what you gotta do to kind of be a good kid, and then kind of tell him, hey, you're kind of messing up a little, like, get it back in line. Even as an adult, it's still hard for me. But, at my freshman year, the end of my freshman year, or beginning of my freshman year, it's kind of when, you know, new experiences in high school and all that other stuff, like how you're gonna
fit in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how are you gonna be a person in high school?
How are you gonna not fit in? In my case, I was like, how am I gonna be different but also fit in? And like, because I was like, everyone knows me as the artist. How do I But
I was like that weird emo kid. Like,
God,
I'm still deep down that weird emo kid.
And I heard a theory that all emo kids turn into hipsters, and I was like, oh my god, I own a literal Polaroid camera. Like,
see, like, I feel like that's kind of like sometimes hand in hand, but not necessarily, because like deep down I still listen to like '09 Fall Out Boy and
I have
just
Linkin Park in my car right now. But yeah, so you get labeled with this. I really hate the term emo kid because like there are people like me and you who are like actually experiencing a serious
like emotional
problem.
trauma. Like
and I really
rough.
hate the term for that reason.
Yes.
I'm like, oh god, no, it makes me cringe. But you're like 14, all this crap happens, going to high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like make some friends, cool, whatever.
Good.
And then like halfway through the year, that's when bullying and like everything just started going downhill with my parents, and like it was just clashing everywhere. It was too much to handle at 15. And then I started getting into the cutting phase, which, I mean, I did it quite a few times before I actually attempted.
Right. A lot of times you have like this thing where people will like, they kind of experiment. They're like, what makes me feel better? What makes me feel better? And then
like I tried
at a certain
several
point, it's
things.
not really enough, and you kind of
okay, I gotta figure out how to get rid of this.
Right. And that's what a lot of times suicide attempts are, is how do I stop feeling this way? You know, it's not necessarily I want to die. It's usually for a lot of people, I don't see any life without feeling the way I feel right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So like, I want to say at the end of my freshman year, beginning of sophomore year, that's when I actually tried to attempt. And like I said, we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
I try not to joke about it as much as I should, but you know,
As much as you what?
as much. I mean, I joke about it a lot, and I'm not saying
that makes it sound like you should joke about it.
I mean, from my experience, I'm not saying joke about suicide because it's not a joke, but.
I mean, if you can joke about your own, I think that can be a healthy coping mechanism.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's more like a healthy coping mechanism because, like, I mean, I really don't think I could see life the way I do now if I didn't joke about it and kind of like, oh, so.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, like, I mean, not a lot of people do. They're like, oh, this is serious. Yeah, I think it is very serious, but
it is definitely serious, but you gotta find a way to handle your own situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, when I was, you know, beginning of sophomore year, I decided to just, everyone was asleep, go into the bathroom, take a bottle of NyQuil, and slit my wrist. Yeah. Sorry, I gotta collect myself.
Yeah, I totally understand. Totally understand.
Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. This is an emotional topic, and I'm glad you're still here. I'm really glad you're still here.
Thanks. All right.
Do we need to stop?
I think we're good.
We're good?
Yeah, we're good. Sorry, I gotta wipe my eyes,
Can I
guys.
hug you?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with hugs.
Okay. Hug is like an emotional hug.
Yes.
Like just, yeah.
So the next day, my mom found me, and she basically told me I wasn't going to school. And I was going to go see a therapist, which, thank God, because I needed to. It was rough. It was, I mean, you have all of these things just kind of.
You have little things
Yes.
pile and pile and pile, and you got the chronic illness that you're dealing with, and
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got like
And you get the
I
bullying
mean-
at school, and like,
And then you're also talking about, like, with the depression and generalized anxiety, your brain's not firing the way it's supposed to in the first place. So not only
No.
are you not producing, like, enough serotonin and all that, you're also talking about a situation in which, like, not only is all that happening, like, your brain isn't functioning like a
yeah,
healthy
it
brain.
shouldn't be
Your
functioning
your
like
body's
that.
not functioning like a healthy body, and emotional crap keeps happening, and it's just like...
It's like,
I mean,
I
a
don't
lot
want to
of-
feel this way anymore.
You don't want to feel that way, and a lot of people will be like, I always feel like, and I do this too, I'm like, oh, my story's not, like, sad enough, like, you know, I wasn't, like, it wasn't really that bad when, like, I attempted and all these other things, but, like,
Oh,
no
yeah.
one knows what you feel but you.
Exactly. And that's why, like, I tend to joke about it a little bit more because, like, mine, I mean, yeah, I just cried over it, but still, like, even sometimes when it gets serious like this, like in an more intimate setting, it's
Yeah,
just like,
this got very serious
Yeah.
very quickly.
I was just like, okay, so, yeah, I kind of laugh about it sometimes, but there are times when it just, like,
It really-
oh, dang, like,
Yeah.
it just really got to me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's just a different way to cope. So, like, after I started going to my therapist, things started going really well. She got me into, like, healthier coping mechanisms, like, talking a little bit more, because when I first went to therapy, I hated her. Like, absolutely hated. I wasn't going to talk to her. Why would I talk to her about my problems?
Yeah.
Well, then she actually, like, my therapist, I know they're not supposed to do this, but she became, like, a really good family friend, and, like, whenever we needed her, I mean, there's still times to this day, like, if I'm having issues with something, I can text her and be like, hey, can I come over? Like, I just need to talk. And, like, I mean, that's
amazing.
yeah, like, it's a good therapist. Like, I'm blessed to have her.
Yeah, that's...
Like, it's just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, let's see. So, after all of that, I noticed that, like, my grades and everything started going up, and, you know, life started getting a little bit better, and I was actually able to kind of function like a normal human being, per
Oh.
se.
Like a mentally healthy human being.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Let's say that
'cause
for the sake of the video. and-
Normal is utterly subjective.
Yeah. But, air quotes around normal.
Well, it's actually, I actually have a lot of thoughts on normal, but,
Yeah.
and they're not actually entirely bad, but now's not really the time
Yeah.
for me to lay all that out.
It's
so-
okay.
It's okay to be normal, you know?
Totally okay to be normal.
You don't gotta go out of your way to be weird. People who love you will love you no, either way.
Most definitely.
Oh yeah.
But, like, I started noticing that a lot of things were starting to get better. I was actually functioning. I was more stable in school, like, with personal things,
Yeah.
everything. And then, so after I graduated, I think everyone kind of gets a dose of reality once they enter college. And it just kind of hit me again, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And, like, I shouldn't say I wasn't suicidal, but I was getting to the point where everything started kind of building up again. And I was just like, okay, so how am I going to fix this? Because my coping mechanisms, they were enough to get me through high school, but now I got to get through, you know, kind of the reality of the world. I got to find a job. I got to do all of these things in order to be
In order to
a
survive.
functioning member of society, per se.
Yeah.
And
Which is also definitely subjective.
yes, most definitely.
Because you, from a very young age, I feel like we're sold this idea of find a partner, get married, have kids, very young, like, graduate college, be
Oh, yeah.
successful, And so many people our age are finding that the economy, doesn't work that
Oh
way.
no,
And,
absolutely not. Like, I'm still
for-
living with my parents at 23. Like,
Yeah,
I don't.
I know a lot of people who are in that situation because they can't save up enough to.
Yeah, it's
I'm
difficult.
incredibly fortunate.
Yeah.
To live on my own like this, like, incredibly.
Most definitely.
So, like, and a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not successful because I haven't done da. And, like, I felt that for a long time. And my sister actually was like, you know, that's a very narrow definition of success. And I was
Yeah.
like, holy crap, Maggie, you're totally right.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
and I never thought about that.
now, like, 22, 23, I'm kind of understanding that the whole definition of success
Yeah.
is just very generalized to one specific thing, but then, like, you also have your own definition, and, like, the position that I'm at right now, I consider myself successful, but I would like to further that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And not just, like, go by everyone else's standards. Like, I'm not
No.
gonna have kids anytime soon. Like, no thanks. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah. Oh, also the sound that you'll be hearing in the background is my cats. Yeah.
They're so cute.
They're very sweet, wonderful animals. And my apartment is very small, so. But so you're in college and
So
it hits the fan.
yeah, it basically hits the fan again, and then so I was talking to my boyfriend, and
Who was also named Ryan.
yeah.
That was very confusing for me. I just have to point that out. I have to laugh at that for a minute because I was like, she was like, oh yeah, Ryan and I were talking, and I was like, wait, is that not your name? I was like, she's like, no, that's also my name.
It's also my name, but
I was
also
just like-
happens to be my boyfriend's
And I was just
name.
like, oh thank God, I thought that I didn't know your name for like a whole minute. And I've been like chatting with this person online.
Right?
Like, whoops.
Oh well.
So-
just thought I'd let you know, we have met before, just a long time ago.
We did, yeah. So does, like, as a side note, does one of you go as Ryan 1 and the other one go as Ryan 2?
No.
What happens if you're together and someone says Ryan? Do you both just
We both just kind of
the call?
yeah. We're like, so which one? You're like,
Sorry,
oh, him.
I keep interrupting this, and this is gonna get long because I don't really edit. I don't cut these interviews as much as I can.
Yeah.
So it feels like a very
No, it's fine.
It feels like a very raw, organic experience that I need to just let happen. But so
It's your
did
video.
Yeah. But so did you go back to therapy?
I did end up going back to therapy. I talked to him and I was like, I think I'm going to go back to therapy, and I'm actually going to go to the doctor's office and see what they can do about medication, because I haven't done any
yeah.
type of medication. I just kind of talked through it a little bit, and then she taught me coping mechanisms, whereas this, it's like, I think I need to go back. I need to try medication and kind
Yeah.
of see what might work out or what doesn't work out, and maybe try to see how I can cope with other things through that. And then, like, I actually ended up being prescribed Wellbutrin. I didn't have very good success with it.
Yeah, a lot of
didn't
times
really-
medication is really very trial and error.
Yeah. I mean, it's really the only one I wanted to do because, like, my doctor was talking to me about it a lot, and she was like, well, this is what I usually prescribe, like, younger people, because,
Yeah, I definitely have had issues with that because like for me it started when I was like 12.
Mhm.
So it's like very much, what do we do with this person whose brain is sick but is also developing?
Yeah.
Because you and I are still also in that stage.
Yeah.
Because I think it
Most
like
definitely.
I may have to research this further, but I think it stops at like 25. But that might
Yeah.
be a myth. But anyway, like it's like, what do you do with this young person who's still so Wellbutrin didn't work for you? Did you find something that did work for you?
I actually ended up, I mean, there's, like, a long backstory behind the whole Wellbutrin thing that I don't really want to get into.
Okay.
Because I'm not comfortable talking about it quite yet,
Yeah,
because
that's
not very
fine.
many people know. But I ended up not going on another medication, but ended up just doing therapy alone and finding better coping mechanisms that might possibly, like, not only, like, help with my mental health, but might help with every other aspect of my life. So my therapist actually mentioned, I mean, because I work out a little bit, but until I started going to therapy, she was like, you should probably hit the gym. I was like, why?
Yeah.
And she's like,
actually,
you should hit the gym at least 3 or 4 times, like, a week.
yeah.
And I started noticing a big improvement in, like, my attitude, and I was kind of cocky, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but, like, I felt good. Like, I genuinely felt really good about myself.
Yeah.
Like, everything kind of started going up, and like the depression started dwindling a little bit. Like, it was still there. It's still there, obviously, but like it wasn't as prominent, and I was able to get through like my last year of college and not have to really worry about a whole lot other than, you know, college things. Like, thank God. Yeah. I mean, I'm very fortunate to like get through it that way, but I mean, different things work for different people, and I mean, just really my only take with it.
So it's probably good to start wrapping this up. Is there something that you like, anything left that you're like, oh, this is really important for me to say, or like if you feel like you're struggling with this, like, you know, what would you say to someone who's watching this who's like,
try to talk to people. Try to talk. Because, like, I mean, there will be times when, like, I don't care, like, I'll get on social media and be like, yo, I need to talk to someone right now because things are kind of getting out of control. No one ends up talking to me, but, you know, you're still making yourself like, hey, I need to talk to someone. And don't be ashamed to, like, contact the suicide hotline. Like, don't. Because, like,
And they also, like, a lot of people don't know this, but they don't just deal with, I'm feeling suicidal, they deal with, like, eating disorders and self-injury and, like, abuse, and, like, I mean, it's kind of phenomenal. Yes, Gizmo? But, yeah, it's actually...
There was a couple, I want to say maybe, like, a couple months ago, I was just, like, my own thoughts were kind of getting to me, and I was like, okay, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I know no one's awake. Like, no one's tweeting anything. Facebook is dead.
Yeah.
Like, who am I going to talk to? So I, like, pulled up the, like, suicide hotline stuff, and then, like, I saw that they had, like, a chat option, and that you could actually, like, chat on there.
You don't even have to physically call them, which is amazing for folks with anxiety. So
yes, it is, because, like, I mean,
it's... like a trailer voice for a second.
Right? It's like...
Anxiety.
It's like, oh my gosh, like, what is... I don't have to get on the phone. I don't have to freak out about talking to someone. Like, I can actually just, like, get all my feelings out, and
someone can kind of help. One of my best friends, like, never calls people because she just, like, gets super anxious about the whole thing. So, like, I mean, I feel like that's really good. Well, this is getting really long, so we should really wrap it up. But
okay.
Yeah, because YouTube's like, only so long, and, like, all that. But this is, I'm so thankful for you coming on here and being so open and honest, and that's just phenomenal. Seriously phenomenal. Like, everyone give her a
Sorry
pat
about
on the back.
my ugly cry.
No. Crying.
I know crying's normal, but ugly cry is, it's real sometimes.
I don't feel
sometimes
like
you just
anyone
gotta get it out there.
I don't feel like anyone is attractive when they cry.
No one really.
And if you are attracted to that, it just...
Hey, Kim Kardashian, if you can deal with her ugly cry, you can deal with mine.
True.
So we're all equal in that sense.
This reminds me of the painting of the crying child painting, but that's another weird story for another time. But yeah, or you can just Google it. If you like this video, please, you know, share it. If you are someone that I actually know and you're like, hey, I want to tell my story, just contact me. We'll find a time.
Do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Do it. Just
do it.
No. That meme has died. I should really stop.
No, it hasn't. Shia LaBeouf is godsend.
He's actually also an amazing dancer, but I have mixed feelings on him as a person. But anyway, yeah, this has been really good. Haven't really worked out an outro yet, but